fighter, Kazuhiro Miyake. Scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds at middleweight level. And here is Kazuhiro Miyake, the 29-year-old, with an exceptional record. Unbeaten in 6 fights, 3 wins by KO. Getting good support from Japanese fans in the crowd here. Of course, this venue is going to be used for judo in the year 2000 Olympic Games here in the Harbour City. And Kazuhiro Miyake, All Japan shootboxing champion and All Japan kickboxing champion. He is well credentialed.
Well, we've had 2 unbelievable fights up until now, and I don't think this will be any different. Just warming up there in the ring, a few uppercuts, chucking the jab out, just getting his footwork right. All comes from the feet. He was actually in here 2 hours earlier before anyone was here in the ring with his tracksuit on, just getting a feel for the whole thing. Obviously very serious.
Here comes Glen Baragry, the 24-year-old Australian super welterweight champion. He is also the ISKA Intercontinental Super Welterweight champion. Now, I have seen Glen Baragry in action. He actually fought as a boxer on the undercard to Costa Zoo's world title defence against Hugo Pineda at Parramatta Stadium in January of this year. He lost the split points decision to Stephen Dack on that occasion, but he looked very polished, had a very good technique. I was very impressed with the way he handled himself, and I'm led to believe that kickboxing is his first love. So if his boxing was anything to go by, Glen Baragry could be a very tough customer for Kazuhiro Miyake. Super welterweight, bout scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds. Glen Baragry is trained by Steve Skiberis, who of course fought on our opening Adam Watt fight card earlier this year. And Kazuhiro Miyake from Japan. Well, Japan is known as the mecca of kickboxing. That's where everyone aspires to be. The biggest money in the world. And that man, Glen Baragry, looks focused, to say the least.
Baragry probably got about 3 inches on the Japanese fighter. Interesting to see whether he uses that height to his advantage tonight with his jabs and his kicks.
Billy Soulos, again our referee, in charge, giving final instructions to Miyake and Baragry. Baragry weighed in a kilo heavier than his Japanese opponent and does enjoy a 10-centimetre reach advantage.
Fairly handy reach advantage there.
Certainly is. Although reach advantage didn't help Michael Schicker in our previous fight, because Mark May was able to bulldoze his way in, although it was a very close affair.
Both fights tonight have been. Really, the first fight, a little bit unfortunate, the Aussie. In the second fight, really the knee was the difference. So if this fight is anything like the last 2, we're in for a great bout.
So it's Glen Baragry in the blue corner. And Kazuhiro Miyake in your picture, fighting out of the red corner.
Well, Japanese girls in the front round, they're in the front area of the actual crowd there, are screaming for the Japanese fighter. Very, very patriotic. Making more noise than the thousands of people here that for the Aussie.
Miyake, a southpaw, up against Glen Baragry. And the Japanese fighter Miyake straight into action. Low blow, Baragry didn't appreciate it. The Japanese fighter slips to the canvas. And Baragry in some trouble here.
It was a nasty kick there. He actually got in between the legs and right up. And you know where that ends up.
Baragry goes with a front kick.
Seems quite slippery out there for the fighters.
Certainly the Japanese boxer Miyake bouncing around.
Miyake seems to move around a little bit more than the Australian fighter.
Miyake just wants to stand and take it to him. Covers up well, has good defensive technique, then lashes out with the right leg. Japanese boxer is full of business here, opening round. Baragry goes downstairs.
Baragry seems to be waiting for that one big kick or one big punch at the moment, whereas the Japanese fighter is happy to keep busy. Well, that was a slip.
Another slip. For the second time in the opening round. Baragry stalks his opponent. He doesn't have to send out a search party for him, though, because the Japanese fighter wants to dictate terms here in the opening round. Much busier of the two. It's scheduled for 5. And Miyake has been all business. Baragry forces him away and now jabs out that left hand. Good solid right kick from the Australian.
Well, the Australian is very composed, isn't he? He's really just standing there waiting for his time and chucking the big shots in. Nice. It was a great jab before that rocked the Japanese head way back as he went across the ring.
End of the opening round. Certainly Kazuhiro Miyake taking the fight right up to Glen Baragry. Very hard to split them there in the opening round.
Very, very even, man. Two different types of strategies there. The Australian came out, really feeling it out, waiting his time, trying to get the big shots in, trying to scare the Japanese fighter, trying to push him back. Adam White uses the same tactics as some of his fights, but come out the first round, wait it out, to see what's happening, and then try a big blow now and then just to scare the opposition and hold him back. Then come out in the second round and start getting busy. Let's see what the Aussie does in this round.
Baragry certainly looks very composed.
Seems very sure of himself, doesn't he? He just seems like he's got a job to do and he knows what he has to do and he's just sticking to a plan and it's going to work for him. That's what he's thinking.
Round 2, scheduled for 5. Glen Baragry in the silver trunks. This time he attacks Kazuhiro Miyake. Oh, spectacular stuff from the Australians, but somewhat illegal.
Unfortunately, you can't do that. You cannot hang on to the rope to throw a kick or a punch. You'll find the Australian will become more busy this round. You wait, you'll start throwing more punches and kicks.
Well, he needs to, because the Japanese fighter, full of business, not intimidated by the taller Australian. Baragry, of course, has a lot more experience.
Baragry throwing a heel kick to the back of the knee. Don't see that too often.
And a warning for Miyake as well for hitting on the back of the head. Good right hand from Baragry. Now a left. Both found the target. Oh, they stand toe-to-toe center ring. Lefts and rights.
Baragry's got to keep his hands up.
He's a very tough customer. Baragry works downstairs. Again, he works with the right leg.
Nice inside kick there from Baragry.
Miyake, though, the southpaw, refuses to back away. Standing right in the face of Glen Baragry.
It's a tough sport, kickboxing. Each one of these fights have shown that. There's no mucking around. They just get in there and just get the job done.
Miyake looking for the knockout punch while Baragry works downstairs. Good combination.
Doing very, very well with that front kick on the inside leg. Pushing that front leg out to the side and then getting a few punches in while the Japanese is off balance.
Both fighters guilty of wrestling then. Billy Silas, the referee, steps in between them. They're back at it now. Baragry goes with a right hand. Again, he works upstairs. Now downstairs.
Very slippery out there.
It certainly is very slippery.
The Japanese looks like he's on skates.
Good left hand from Baragry. Japanese boxer in some trouble here.
Wasn't a full-thrown jab, but certainly it did the trick. Oh, that was partially a slip, but he did get him there. He is giving him a count, but I think that he was slipping prior to the punch. Australian starting to take control here.
Solid right hand from Baragry. Grabbed the attention of the Japanese fighter Miyake. And Baragry coming on strong here in round number 2.
He's coming in very straight with his punches, with his jabs, straight through the defense of the Japanese fighter, finding the mark.
The Japanese fighter soaking up plenty of punishment here, in some trouble again. Lefts and rights from Baragry. A solid uppercut, and down goes the Japanese boxer.
Japanese fighter's in all sorts of trouble here. He's really all over him now. Just the end of this round, the Australian fighter's starting to show his superiority. Saved by the bell.
Right on the conclusion of round 2. The Japanese fighter is up, but certainly Glen Baragry takes round number 2, 10-8.
What he's doing out there is he's really setting himself up. He's throwing his jabs, he's throwing his rights, he's throwing it nice and neat, and then he's following it up with a front kick or a side kick. And he's really making it hard for the Japanese to know what's going on. He's bamboozling him out there, and it's paying off. And there's another great kick to the side there, spreading the leg of the Japanese fighter in close to the body. You can see the Japanese is really starting to breathe heavy here. Nice front kick. Japanese trying to push him back a bit there with a few jabs. But the Australian fighter looks a bit stronger, doesn't he? He's a bit taller, so he's a little bit more heavier set and has that strength. And he's really doing the job by the fact that he's mixing it up. You really got to do that in kickboxing. Great kick there. That really knocked the Japanese around.
Kazuhiro Miyake with a job ahead of him at the moment, and Baragry straight into action. Good solid front kick, and now he has the Japanese boxer pinned.
Very surprised
right out of the red corner.
Very surprised to see Miyake last this round out. If the Australian can continue with what he was doing in the last round. Starting to bring that front kick in more and more now. Japanese can't pick it, he's getting very tired. Whereas in the first few rounds you can pick those sort of moves. Once you get tired of the
what a right hand from Glen Baragry. And the Japanese boxer is in trouble here again.
It's over.
Blood flowing freely from the mouth. He bounces into another left hand. And Baragry is going a standing 8 count from Billy Soulos. Well, he was down twice in round number 2, once from the leg, once from a crushing right hand. And here in round number 3, a standing 8 count. This cannot go on much longer. With right hand. Billy Soulos surely will step in and stop this fight. It's all over. It's all over. Billy Soulos had no option because Glen Baragry was all over Kazuhiro Miyake. And in round 3, Billy Soulos stops the fight.
Well, Miyake copped a ton of punishment those last 30 seconds. The Australian looks pretty good there. He absorbed a bit as well. He's got a few marks above his head. But the poor Japanese fighter, Miyake, he copped 2 huge right hands to the head. And those kicks to the inside leg, well, I tell you what, if you cop some of those, you'll know what they feel like. They are nasty kicks. He'll be lucky to be able to walk tomorrow. He'll be limping around.
Well, it was a sustained attack from Baragry, and mainly the damage was done upstairs. Certainly the kicks took the wind out of the sails, but as you can see, it was a solid right hand like that from Baragry that did the damage. It was a good combination, really, from the Australian.
That's a huge kick to the legs there. He got both of them. It came through the front leg and took out his back leg as well.
And Billy Soulos waves the fight over because the Australian proved too strong for his Japanese opponent. And Glen Baragry, the 24-year-old Australian super welterweight champion, the ISKA International super welterweight champion, wins by TKO in round number 3.
Well, he's very happy there. The fans love that fight. They're very pleased to see the Australian get up. Obviously prepared very well for this fight. Mixed it up. His hands were good. His feet were good. He did an awesome amount of damage with that front kick to the inside leg. The Japanese fighter couldn't do anything about that at all, and by the end of the fight, it was really a case of how long the Japanese fighter could last.